Hey guys! So I was wondering what follow-up video to make after my last one got a positive response from you guys. Thank you so much. And I thought that I'd discuss some hot takes around DC and Marvel and see where we might disagree or agree, and yeah, this is gonna be fun. Hopefully I don't lose all my viewers after this. So first, I think that the Snyder Cut is the worst thing to ever happen to DC. The fracturing of the DC fanbase and the constant arguments and war have done irreversible damage to the DC cinematic universe that can never be undone because of the Snyderverse. Think of it this way, the delusional Snyder fans had been starving for any crumb of anything to indicate that he might return, and they weren't getting fed, which eventually would have led them to give up or die out. But because the Snyder Cut came out, their delusion was almost fueled for like the next 10 years. And we shouldn't live in a world where there are still people who genuinely believe that he is coming back and use their mental illness to hate on the real, tangible DC universe that we actually have. And this is in no way hate to Zack Snyder, who I think is very talented in so many regards. I'm just confused as to whether these people even like DC in the first place, because the amount of hatred they have for everything DC puts out that's not Snyder is just baffling to me. Because me personally, as a DC fan first, I don't have any allegiance with any director or any creative team. I just have hoped since I was a kid to see my favorite characters on live action all together in an amazing Justice League story, and we still haven't gotten that. And that is, I think, single-handedly because of the fracturing of the fan base. Imagine if we lived in a world where every DC fan would rally behind the same movies that are coming out currently. We would be in a utopia and we would be doing much better than we are right now. Another controversial one, but I personally think that James Gunn should direct The Brave and the Bold. Let's be honest, he clearly loves the character and is probably one of the best superhero genre directors in history. Looking at his track record, I would honestly love it. He has a deep understanding of the character, even some of the niche runs of Batman from years back. He also loves the color and the fantasy, which is the type of thing that has been missing from Batman live action films for decades. He's not the type to try and make everything gritty and realistic, which would be a breath of fresh air for the character in live action. There's a certain level of camp that comes along with a guy that's dressed like a bat and a kid that's dressed in green, red, and yellow. And James Gunn would be able to do that in a campy way, but also keep the characters like aura farmy and cool. And yeah, he hasn't made a bad film yet, so he's probably not going to start with The Brave and the Bold, so I would love for this to happen. DC is stupid as hell for letting Green Lantern's cinematic prospects be destroyed all over one film. Green Lantern is such an amazing character with so much lore and mythos. He combines aspects of space epics like Star Wars with superhero antics, and it sucks because of one shitty film released 15 years ago, we never got another project again. That's crazy to me, especially with one of your main core characters of your universe. Thankfully, this is changing because of Lanterns coming out in the summer, which is why I'm super excited about it. Cyborg should never be in the Justice League. He is way too linked with the Teen Titans, and his friendship with Beast Boy shouldn't be taken away for him to be a depressed aura-farming mother box machine like he was in the New 52 and the Justice League live-action movie. They clearly did it for diversity reasons, but there are much better options to add to the team. Like, we already have Jon Stewart, Black Lightning, Mr. Terrific, who could fill out a similar tech role, Vixen, Firestorm, so many amazing characters of color that they could have included instead. I am so sick of everything being grounded and gritty and realistic, and that's the only way for superhero media to be taken seriously when it's stripped of its best qualities. This is ridiculous. The whole fun of comic books is the bright colors, cool action, superpowers, the scale of it. And I'm glad that at least this year and the ongoing years, we're starting to see less of that due to the rise of James Gunn and Avengers Doomsday and Destin Daniel Cretton. And I just want that aspect of comic books to not be lost for a superhero movie to be taken seriously. I think the Injustice franchise is a bit overhated. People dog on this franchise like crazy, but I mean, it's Elseworlds. It's not the game's fault that because it's so well made and successful that lots of people might stupidly take these as their definitive versions of the characters. I get the frustration, especially with characters like Wonder Woman, but I think that we still do need an Injustice 3. Injustice does such a good job showcasing different sides of DC and its characters with their large roster, and is pretty much the biggest DC gaming franchise we have besides the Arkham series. The hype created by character reveals, story reveals, and the very, very high quality movie-esque storylines that we get in those games, that creates hype, and that creates, mainstream media attention for DC, and that's what we need, and I think we need it back. Another really controversial one, I think Wonder Woman 2 is not that bad. I would say it's not even close to being as bad as even The Flash, for example. Yes, it's a very sloppy film, and it's at best mid, but the central theme of the Wishing Stone is the perfect story for Wonder Woman herself, which is what I wanted. A story that shows how her character is different from the rest of the Trinity, and showing that, like at the end of this movie, Diana wins the day by not punching her way through to victory or being this aggressive warrior that so many adaptations have shown her as, but through compassion and love for humanity. And like at the end of this movie when she defeats Maxwell Lord, by showing compassion, by reaching out to everyone and asking them to believe in humanity and give up their wish. I think that is a good concept for Wonder Woman as a character to tackle, and because what would Superman and Batman even do in that situation? Exactly, and that's the perfect story for her. Again, about Wonder Woman, I think Wonder Woman and The Flash are just as, if not more important to the DC universe as Batman and Superman are. Wonder Woman is the DC female hero. In many instances, she's the only female character in the Justice League. She represents all female superheroes in fiction. She is so important, and the only reason that you see Wonder Woman slander is because these people don't read comics, and we haven't had a definitive adaptation of Wonder Woman like we have had with maybe the Chris Nolan trilogy, or even David Cornsweet's Superman, or Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. If we get that for Wonder Woman, no one will ever disrespect her. As for The Flash, I think DC as of recent hasn't done a good job of showing that, if we generalize it, this might be a bit of a crazy concept, but he really is DC's kind of answer to Spider-Man. He's the audience surrogate in many adaptations. He is the most grounded member of the team, I would say, as a person. He is the everyman. He is the glue and the heart of the team. The team, in my eyes, is built around the Flash. He connects everyone. He's the young, lighthearted energy in so many adaptations, especially in the Justice League animated show. And much like Spider-Man, he really is the wild card as well. He is the one thinking of crazy, clever ideas, the one pulling out tricks out of his ass at the end of the day to save everyone with these crazy Speed Force upgrades that he gets. Again, Wonder Woman mops Thor. Thor and Wonder Woman possess around a similar level of strength, with Wonder Woman fighting Superman to a stalemate on multiple occasions, and Thor having some recent feats that are technically stronger than Wonder Woman. But the thing is, Wonder Woman is the best fighter of the DC universe, or at least top 5. Her sheer tactical prowess and precision is far greater than Thor's. She eclipses him. She also gaps him in terms of sheer speed, on multiple occasions on par and faster with characters entering and using the Speed Force. I'm sick of solo films for villains. In a world where heroes themselves can't get decent adaptations, why the hell are we making films about Clayface and Kraven the Hunter? What's going on? Who is setting these films up to fail? Because who is the intended audience? Who did Sony think was going to go and see a Kraven the Hunter film? I don't understand the point. I don't understand why. If it's a really interesting story that needs to be told, like maybe Clayface is some masterpiece, sure. But like it shouldn't happen consistently. It should be the script is too good not to make. Not that, oh, let's make a film about this random villain for no reason. That's just stupid to me. This also might sound a bit crazy, but Avengers Doomsday sounds a lot like Marvel's version of The Flash. Let me explain. Both movies are seemingly setting up soft reboots for their franchises and have a controversial pick for the title role as Robert Downey Jr. as Doom and Ezra Miller as Flash. Both are filled to the brim with nostalgia slop and bringing back random old characters for the sake of nostalgia baiting their audience. Let's hope that Marvel does a better job, because I'm scared that this may be too big of a task for them to pull off successfully, because we saw how The Flash was a horrific mess, and Avengers Doomsday, it has a lot of obstacles to face. The Avengers, more specifically Iron Man and Captain America, are only popular because of the MCU, and I need people to realize that. The characters themselves are just way less interesting than the rest of the Marvel Universe or anything in DC as well. They don't have that deep lore and mythos that all these other characters have. The only reason that their fans entertain the stupid discussion of the Mount Rushmore is because name 5 Wonder Woman villains. I'll simply say that if I ask someone on the street to name even 3 Iron Man or Captain America villains, they would be blank. And they would even say, Thanos? So if you're gonna dog on Wonder Woman for name 5 Wonder Woman villains, nobody, I can guarantee you nobody can name more than 2 even Iron Man and Captain America villains, and specifically their villains. I don't want no group villains, no Avengers villains, specifically their rogues gallery. I'll wait. I like the old Fantastic Four movies better than the new one. Sorry, I said it. The new one is good, but I think it lacks action and it's just a bit too serious, and I think the main 4 are miscast. You just simply can't get better than Chris Evans' Johnny Storm. The charisma, I think him and a lot of the other characters were too serious in this film. I'm not really sure. I get it, the stakes were pretty high in this film, but they had no light moments. Even the comedy was just horrendous. I think the campy tone works way better with a team like this. Also, I think their powers were the most visually boring they've ever been. Even the 2013 or whatever Fantastic Four film had more visually cool powers. Why can't you just make Sue's powers blue, hard light constructs, like they are across most other media and even Marvel rivals? This semi-invisible air thingamajiggy that she has going on is so boring and uninteresting and bland, and it makes her powers so hard to understand to anyone, because she can just move her arms and the invisible things will just do whatever she says. She wants to hold something, she wants to hold it, she wants to block a punch, she wants to grab someone with this invisible force, she can do it. That's just ridiculous, and it's so much cooler when it's something that's tangible and blue, even though sure it's not blue, her powers aren't technically blue, but just for the sake of visuals, I think that would have been much nicer to look at. But as for Sue herself, that's the only thing that I like better in this new adaptation. Everything else, I would give it to the old adaptation. This might be the most controversial one, but actually I said that for all of them. But Tom Holland's Spider-Man trilogy is by far the strongest Spider-Man adaptation ever. Sorry, I said it. As someone who isn't a huge Spider-Man fan, Tom Holland's movies made me want to get into the character. I think he's the best Spider-Man overall. I think that his acting is good. It's not as good as Andrew Garfield's, obviously, but his acting, I would say, is better than Tobey Maguire, sorry. And I think John Watts is actually an amazing and underrated superhero director. And yes, Far From Home is a really good film. I don't understand the slander at all. Mysterio is a great villain, one of the best in the MCU actually. Also, No Way Home is how you do nostalgia slop well. At its core, it was still about Tom Holland's Peter and his supporting cast and their emotional journeys, and Andrew and Toby were only there for a fun third act battle, which was perfectly done. The ending of this movie made me cry as well when Peter was saying bye to MJ. This is by far the best nostalgia slot movie that either company has produced. I personally think that the hype and popularity that Scarlet Witch has should rightfully be given to Zatanna, because Scarlet Witch is such a messy character. I don't really even get what Scarlet Witch fans have to latch onto anymore, because her runs are always cancelled because they aren't selling and they're not really that good either. She's only used as a plot device in major stories. Her powers, I think, have crossed the realm of being believable or tangible in any way. She can kind of just do whatever she wants, when before she just had probability magic, which was something we could at least quantify and could be in the bounds of a story, because the way she is now, she can literally do anything, so no story will ever be able to satisfy her character at all. I think Zatanna is way more interesting of a concept. I think she has way better mythos. She has ties to Justice League Dark. She has a relationship with Constantine in many instances. She has her relationship with her father. I think her gimmick of speaking spells backwards is something that is very tangible and audience friendly. She has a cool design, and she should definitely get her own solo project soon, because they're sleeping on her character. So yeah, Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys don't agree with. And let me know what other videos you guys want to see, because I'm just kind of starting out making these. I have tons of ideas, but I would love to hear what you guys want. So subscribe, like, comment, do all that fun stuff. And I'll see you in the next one.